Just want to remind everybody that all council meetings will be audio and videotaped, and they'll be shown on the Township of Ocean's Community Cable Channel, Channel 22 on Verizon Fios, and Channel 1300.
13, I know, just for this meeting, it's going back.
Oh,
Yes.
13.
I forgot, that was the other thing I
You're
forgot.
ruining me. I almost memorized.
Optimum kicked us off, but now they're putting us back.
Roll call.
Mayor Napolitani.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Fisher.
Here.
Councilmember Chera.
Here.
Kaplan.
Here.
And Wentz.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was posted in Town Hall and sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster. Filed in the office of the municipal clerk on January 3rd, 2025. First up, we have Topology, since they are here via Zoom. So we are going to turn it over to Topology, who's going to do our Route 35 revitalization discussion. Everybody here, do you guys have a copy of anything from Topology?
Well, I sent the deck out.
I didn't print it. I figured we'd have, no?
They'll probably show it.
Jesse, you're going to need to make me a co-host or something to share the...
You could also bring it up on your phone, right?
Yeah.
Because they have a,
Thank you.
right, if we just,
Thank you, Golden.
just
You
to,
the share Golden? You can't hit the bottom share?
Yeah, it says I need permission.
if it's okay, I'd just like to talk for just a couple of seconds before they get going. So myself and Rob and Dave met about the report, had some discussions around it.
Dave Brown.
Dave Brown, right. And then myself and Rob and Dave had a conversation with them about some of the things we like to see and some of the things that we really would like to hone in on. And then before this presentation, they sent us the presentation that we went through with them and helped them kind of hone it in, staying specifically around recommendations and how to make those things occur. And then the other is what other towns are like us that went through a similar effort, and how did that come out? And that's what we were trying to kind of capsulize, because the report is too big to kind of go through everything in 15 minutes, okay?
Good deal.
So Golda, turn it over to you.
Sure. Well, thank you for having us, and I'm about to turn over to Phil, but to introduce myself to the ones I haven't met in the room, and I'll let Phil introduce himself. So I'm Golda McMillan, just recently changed my last name. I've been with Topology for about 7 years now, and we serve as the redevelopment planners for Ocean Township. But before we really engaged into the redevelopment work with you guys, we did this initial look at Route 35, met with the mayor, met with the business administrator, a couple of members of staff, I think the township attorney. Just kind of, this all started with kind of the excitement going on at Netflix down the street, and what can we do and what can we look at here at Route 35, and what kind of revitalization efforts can happen to bring that excitement over. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Phil, who will kind of kick this one off.
Yeah, again, thank you everybody. My name is Phil Abramson. I've met some of you. And unfortunately, I recognize some of you from the planning board. We did the Orchard Plaza presentation. And yeah, so we're excited to be here to talk about this. This is a scope of work that we kind of first get to a corridor like this. The question is, what are we going to do here? What are we supposed to do here? What are the tools available to us? And we really need to understand the place. We really need to understand what are the issues, so we can begin to develop the solutions. So maybe Golda, if you want to go to the next slide. And this is really like the baseline report. We do a lot of redevelopment work, and there's an old saying, like when you're a hammer, everything's a nail. And we didn't want to approach that like this, to assume that this is, necessarily a redevelopment project. So, because we've done that in the past and found out in certain downtowns that they haven't been doing property maintenance or code enforcement. We find out that there's problems with the zoning code. We wanted to do this initial study. This study will serve as a foundation and a background for future work, because we did a lot of data collection. We did a survey of residents and property owners to kind of collect their thoughts and opinions. So there's a lot of good information that was created as part of this process. And I think to a large extent, our suspicions were confirmed. And So what did we do? We did the site visits. We cataloged the issues. We went through all your files pretty much for the corridor, just kind of see what had been done in the past and kind of what are the main issues. We did the survey, and I think that this sets us up as a foundation for things like grant applications, redevelopment planning, or potentially, zoning code amendments and code enforcement activities. Go to the next slide. So, Golda, why don't you talk through some of the recommendations here?
Sure. So we all met collectively, and one of the questions was, okay, if we were to triage, like, what is the do now, what is the do later kind of items? If we were to sort of put it on the scale of near-term and long-term objectives, and like essentially what's like the low-hanging fruit that we could even address within like 12 months. And when we talk about the case studies in a moment, like some of the other towns that we looked at, they started with studies as well, like Middleton, and then they evolved into more of a redevelopment approach. And what like we recommend, and what seemed to be a common theme with a lot of the other towns and corridors that we looked at, is the power of the local housing redevelopment law, which can really move certain property owners and get their attention. And where a redevelopment plan might be a little bit more long-term, what you can do now is the official in need of redevelopment or in need of rehabilitation study. As you've seen with Orchard Plaza, that was like a turnaround of maybe 4 months. And I believe it's on your agenda tonight to even maybe entertain a redevelopment plan there. So kind of selecting maybe these like top sites that we found in our report, the ones that are underperforming, maybe the land, we did a catalog of what properties where the land was like worth more than the improvements and the actual buildings and infrastructure. We did a catalog of what properties just getting the same maintenance issues over and over again. We did a catalog of what properties are completely vacant, or maybe it's commercial strip malls with consistent vacancies. While these things themselves are like criteria, they are themes within the criteria that could designate them if, upon a further study, if it meets the area in need of redevelopment. And so what that tool does is, one, it kind of gets you engaged with property owners. As you may see, has already happened along Route 35. And it also can provide incentives for a public-private partnership to maybe redo a zoning or some kind of reinvestment plan if there's a bigger vision there, that like your traditional zoning just might not move on that, because maybe some of these properties that have vacancies could be because they're environmentally contaminated, or there's DOT issues, or there's other kind of issues where just the normal like powers of zoning might not accomplish that kind of reinvestment that you're looking for, with like a true public give back and a true investment and meaningful investment into the property. So the near-term action items could be like selecting these key properties rather than just kind of blindly like throwing a dart at the Route 35 bullseye. We kind of know what the targets kind of might be. It's some definite hot spots like north of Deal Ave, in the northern part, kind of as you get to Edentown, as we identified in the report. And if maybe not a full-blown redevelopment study, which I know could be very lengthy, there could be sections of the highway if you want to also just do a rehabilitation study, either or, which is a much easier process, and perhaps could be maybe there's a smaller scope of the highway you just want to focus on in chunks. So that's what we found to be maybe like the most near-term action items. And with doing that, we were happy to see you guys are, enforcing property maintenance, zoning. We work in a town where, Phil, I won't say the town, but the town where it's like they keep saying there's these problems, and then we go through their files and nobody ever writes a zoning violation. Nobody, it's perceived problems, but when it comes time to do a thorough study or try to designate something, it's, we want to face it off to some.
Hey, guys, just for time's sake, we only have like another 10 minutes. So,
yeah,
we're really going to have to,
We'll move on.
Yeah.
So that's
okay.
the near term, and really the long term is just the latter half of that, which is moving into redevelopment planning, which is, to update some of those aesthetics and maybe lot consolidations and put in some sort of cohesive plan together. And So that is kind of the recommendation. I know I'll pass it on to Phil, who tends to speak a lot faster than me.
Yeah, and I'll just say a couple things that I wanted to say. Number one, this is a more comprehensive and detailed study than this presentation. This wasn't intended to replace that or to go over everything. So there are things there that if you want to ask us questions or have separate conversations, we're happy to do that with you. Number two, the municipality is something really important here, which is something, right, that we started. That this is a start, and what we learned, I think, from the Orchard Plaza experience is that when you initiate the redevelopment process, the property owners pay attention, and the property owners come forward. And like, this is not, not to like make this a small issue, but it's not rocket science here, that these properties, the solutions for these properties kind of start and end with the property owner. You as a municipality can push that along, sometimes in a very heavy-handed way, and sometimes in a gentle way. But the redevelopment process really is the tool, and Mr. Weinstein asked us to take a look at it, take a look at other municipalities, and I thought it was an interesting assignment, an interesting request that we do that, thinking, maybe there are things that we didn't think about, maybe there are like other tools out there. So we looked at commercial, turnarounds. We looked really at I think the highways as being a lifelong New Jersey person that are kind of the most similar to Route 35. And we looked at Route 10 and that runs through Morris County, where I grew up. We looked at Route 1 in Middlesex. And we could go back one or two. Yeah, so like for the most part, redevelopment is what the municipalities are kind of landing on as a tool to engage with property owners. And I think here, like looking at these sites, you have some pretty sizable properties. There's a car dealership. There's these, we call them catalytic sites. And what we saw as a common factor in all of these municipalities that I think where you saw successful turnarounds, not just of these large properties, but of the incremental properties in between them, the smaller, mom and pop sites, was that it really started with turnaround, like the Orchard Plaza, I think will make a big difference, when that happens. I think that there are other properties, maybe not quite as large as Orchard Plaza, but there are other properties of similar scale and size that when we start to, in economic development, you call it the barbell technique, that you create these big weights of economic activity, and then in the bar of that barbell, it will fill back in, and there'll be an incentive for other people because there's this uplifting, like the rising tide lifts all ships. So I think that here, the studies really showed, or the precedent studies really showed us that. We saw in Randolph, really it was they had a former Kmart Plaza that's been redeveloped that was part of a similar study that they did there. They amended their master plan. Hanover Township, I'm very familiar, I'm working on a property right now that actually is, you could say it was part of that. Part of the issue in Hanover was that they had a lot of old industrial zoning. I don't think that's our issue here. They had older industrial sites with deep blocks where there was an industrial operation in the back and a retail operation in the front. So that took a long time to resolve. But there's, again, when you talk to these municipalities, which we have, they'll tell you the main thing was that big, crown jewel project was the thing that initiated the turnaround and still the thing they talk about as their greatest success. So I think between bringing up the bottom, and Woodbridge is another one where that had every single thing on this list was a redevelopment plan along Route 1, and they've done a lot of progress there.
We talked about 36, but I even spoke to
Go ahead.
and she kind of told me the backstory to Route 36, and that, this all started as a study that they did back in 2017, and then they started having some strategic, quote, not taking your property, those are her words, meetings to kind of get the buy-in from the members of the public, so that when they were getting ready to do these like studies and plans, it was pretty transparent what they were doing. And they have a lot of the similar major hurdles as you guys, shallow, undersized lot, and how do you incentivize and get like Market working with Together in a comprehensive plan. And so what they ended up doing is they adopted like an infill plan, which is let's give this one property some residential mixed use, a second story, and they're already looking to do their second infill plan. So this is like turning around now.
Yeah. So I think that so each of these corridors kind of had its own set. There's no one size fits all. I think here the big story is that the township needs to continue to do what it's doing in many respects, but one is lift the bottom up through continued and aggressive code enforcement. That if there are problems out there that you're seeing every day, make sure that the code enforcement officials are out there and being aggressive on enforcement. So that's kind of lifting up the bottom. And I think rising the top is through redevelopment, through these larger catalytic sites. And then long term, one of the things that we're going to be doing, it took us a while, unfortunately, to make this happen, is to, talk to Netflix and see, because, you have this push and pull between the Monmouth Mall and Netflix. You guys are kind of right there in the middle of those two opportunities. And, I'm in touch with the developer of the Monmouth Mall, kind of learning from them what they're doing. But also Netflix is going to have a huge economic impact on Ocean Township. And it's taken a while for us to, work through the EDA to figure out how we're going to be able to dovetail and maybe make contact with operations over there to see if there's certain things that they need that we can provide here in Ocean. So
Okay.
I think that that's kind of the short, medium, long term is, long-term strategic is work on these, work toward these regional draws. For a short-term, bring up the bottom through enforcement, and then kind of in the middle there is working on sites like Orchard Plaza. And there are others that are like Orchard Plaza that I think need similar attention.
That's great. No, Phil and Golda, this is great. I don't know if we have time for questions at this point, right? Because we have a little bit of a tight, am I correct on that?
Greg, how much time do you need? A few minutes?
5, 10 minutes, whatever you want me to use, whatever you usually have left.
I mean, I guess if somebody has a couple of quick questions that we could kind of talk through that maybe you have on the tip of your tongue, is that?
I'll do a tip of the tongue. I have a few, but I think the ugliest thing, just to be frank, on Route 35 is those barriers in the middle. Are there any, like we talked about low-hanging fruit, is there a way to just replace them with landscaping? Like how do we, that's like forget about the properties themselves, that long barrier is something that I think we need to think about also.
Yeah, so we were asked to look at this actually. What I can tell you is that I don't have the real answer for your question, I'm just going to tell you that straight up. But all the municipalities that we looked at, all those highways are, famously Jersey barrier highways. Route 10, Route 1, 35, 36, I think. So it's an engineering question, right? We can do some. I think your engineer might be in a better position to opine on this. That there's opposing traffic at relatively high speeds. They put them there for a reason. I don't know of projects or like precedents where they took that out, and it's like that we could point to that one. I'm not saying it's a bad idea at all. I think it's a good idea. I just I wouldn't know where to look. I have a friend of mine that used to be a senior person at DOT, and I could ask him, and I'll get it back to you guys.
Yeah, that
with
would
an
be,
observation.
I think, helpful. Also, because further down Route 35 in Shrewsbury, they don't have a barrier.
Traffic.
And also, I think, maybe I'm wrong, but does Route 18 have a barrier all the way down?
No.
It doesn't,
But
right?
I think the thing we're going to do is probably have a traffic committee that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
takes
yeah.
this message to the other people.
Yeah, what we want to do is look at that with DOT, so I mean, that's definitely, on our request ask list, so. With
Okay.
Orchard Plaza being recently sold and us looking into the corridor, I think what I want to dig into the report a little bit more. I think maybe consider having you guys back at a later date, specifically for maybe if we need you back for more of a Q&A on it. Let it really marinate and let us look at this report.
Yep. But this was helpful. This was very helpful. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for doing all the work, and thanks for coming here. Really much appreciated.
Great, and if there's more things that are questions or ideas that come up, just send us an email.
Yeah, I'm gonna circle back with both of you next week, if that's okay. All right, and
That's great.
talk about what we should do next.
All right.
Is that cool? Okay. Thanks, and congratulations,
Good night.
Golda.
Thanks, Golda.
She got married on Friday, by the way.
Oh,
Yes.
All right, Greg
I'm gonna
Blash.
close it out just to be safe.
I don't understand
It's like stuck in the elevator.
That's super cricket.
Yeah, it's a monster.
Just keep going.
the microphone.
It's big enough, maybe we can have the officer shoot it.
That's what we're talking about. Giant cricket downstairs.
It's like a Bugs Bunny cricket.
Waiting for you guys to come down.
Started when the presentation started, I was like, huh, crickets.
I was hearing something.
You thought it was at his place?
Crickets.
I thought it was his place too.
Okay, good evening. Go over the list of things. I'll kind of, not going to blow through them, but I'll go through them at a quicker pace. 23 program, we're waiting for DOT final approval. We got Jesse and I have scheduled the final assessments for that for October 7th with the residents. 24 program, we received DOT approval. We're going to be advertising that on the 17th of September and awarding that at the next council meeting. Kepwell Park, we're still waiting for that JCP and letter to move forward on that project. Next one is Fireman's Pond. We had a meeting with the residents there, or no, I'm sorry, different than Fireman's Pond. We had a meeting with the county. County's ready to go. We got all our permits in the mail this past week for fish lowering and all that. So everything is set. Pretty much we're gonna lower the lake starting October 1st, and county's coming in probably the second week of October to start dredging that pond. So we got the DPW is getting the site ready. They're removing some of the berm area where we're gonna be putting this dirt. So we're in pretty good shape to get going on this. We got one thing left to work out that I'll work out with Dave. It's the riprap. Next thing is Snell's Pond. We had a meeting with the resident concerned about us dredging that, but that's kind of a future discussion. 1515 Logan, we received our DEP approval last Monday. So it's a good thing.
That took a while.
We had a discussion with Kevin a little earlier. We're gonna set up all the things. I'm assuming we're still gonna sell it. That's the intent. So we're gonna get the package together to sell with all the conditions that you can't reconsolidate, all the legal terms that I wanna go over with Kevin to make sure we have in there that these people don't think they come and buy the property and change it. So it'll be deed restricted, I guess is the best way to put it.
If you were guessing, that would go out to bid in,
I would probably think we're probably gonna wanna talk about it next meeting, just to confirm everything and tell you here, we're gonna give you, show you all the specs that we have for it. So then the week after that, so probably mid-October.
oh, nice, okay.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why not. I'll just let you know too, there's, we don't have final approval yet, we only have preliminary approval at the board level. We did have resolution compliance. We didn't get final because we don't wanna dictate to this guy that he has to build all 6 lots at once. He can determine, and filing the file map is all that has to be done. I can file the file map. He may come and wanna say, I'll buy the whole thing, but I want 2 final lots. This what comes down with tax purposes. So this guy will dictate to us what he wants to do. We'll do the first step and then it's his. But they will be required to demolish the building and all that stuff. So those are the kind of things we've got to set up in this schedule for them to bid on.
That's cool. So he'll demolish the building at his cost.
Yeah, and save us some money that way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The next thing is lighting of Larchwood. I picked out the lights that we would like to use, sent it to Jose Ortiz for a price. We're waiting for that back. I know there's some residents in the area, they're kind of pepped up on doing all the things. I forget the one guy, Mushi, I don't know how to say his last name, it starts with a Q. But he's been questioning about the process. And I told him we're doing it in 3 phases. We're doing Larchwood first. Once we get that done, the price is in and get that awarded, or figure out how we're going to pay for it. Then we'll then go to Saxony and Old Farm. Those 2 roads are a much different condition because there's not, on Larchwood there's lights on every pole, so it's easy to replace them. On Old Saxony and Old Farm, it's kind of a developer special. The lights are like every 400 feet, and they're the like driveway post lights. So the lighting is very substandard there. So to put the kind of lighting they want, are requesting us in there, we're gonna have to put substantial number of different lights in them. We're essentially gonna have to light the whole neighborhood. And we're gonna have to run electric underground because these are not JCP&L poles. There's no poles in those, utilities are underground. So that's gonna be a pretty big ticket item.
Is that an
So-
assessment district?
Well, that's what we're gonna have to talk about. That's what I recommend we do with that, because it's gonna be totally to service that neighborhood. Same thing with, Saxony, and all, they're both kind of a unique situation, and anybody that's in that will have to be assessed. So we'll probably have to have assessment meetings with the residents of town, because I'm not sure everybody knows this is coming.
Can they opt out?
No, that's gonna be the problem. It's gonna be, we're gonna like the whole order, we're gonna like none of it, leave it the way it is. So I think what we'll do through that assessment thing is, we're gonna get a head count to see,
Who
if you
wants
get
it?
50-50, then you guys are gonna have to make a decision, but we
Right.
can report that back to you. But I think that's gonna be next on the boat for those two roads. So once I get the first price, then I'll go back to Jose, okay, now we're gonna figure out the price to put these utility underground, and we're gonna have to put a certain number of transformers in there to light this. We have to do all that and figure it out, and then we'll have these assessment meetings, because we'll know what the prices are.
So since this is a live meeting and/or it's recorded, and there's probably 100 people watching, just for the record, if somebody in Wayside says my street's not lit well enough, we're gonna do the same
Yeah, we'll do that.
observation, look at
Yeah.
it.
It's just gonna be phased out, because obviously we don't have the money to do
Right,
all these
of
things at
course.
once.
Right.
But yeah, we can look at all the lights on all the streets. That's certainly a viable option. But I think when they hear the price on Saxon Hill Farm, that may deter a couple.
Sure. Understood.
So you called us a developer special, so I assume back in the day, every 400 feet was sort of the standard. Is that still the standard today, if I was to build a new development?
No, it was going back quite a ways, like I'd say 20, 30 years ago or beyond. What happened was we used to put a light every 150 feet, and they were generally utility pole lightings, because everything was overhead wiring. And probably somewhere I'm kind of guessing, it was somewhere in the 90s, early 2000s, a lot of these developments started putting utilities underground. So they didn't have the JCP&O poles in. And most of the developers didn't necessarily want to put a lot of street lighting in. So they put like a little lamp post light, which was only 16 feet high every 400 feet.
Yeah.
So they're very dark in between those lights. So that's really where it came from. The current standard is most of the developers are only putting lights at intersections. So they don't even put them every 400 feet.
Really?
They're trying to go the opposite way. People want less lighting. It's kind of a green carbon footprint thing. So they're kind of going the other way. So it's something we should
Yeah.
probably consider.
Interesting, because I know my neighborhood is exactly what you just said. It's substandard lighting every 400 feet. It's dark. It's got those orange,
Yeah.
The all mercury vapor lights.
horrible
Yeah.
lighting.
It's orange.
So what's the code for that? Is
Thank
there a
you.
code in town?
I don't think there is a code, I'm sure, and it says a half-a-foot candle on the street surface, but I think that's been varied away from because of the standards that everybody's going through. But I'd have to probably look at the RSIS standards to see what they require for lighting these days.
Because I
That
guess,
governs.
one of the things, we want to have more sidewalks, right? So that people can walk and go from place to place. And if you don't have the right lighting, then I guess hurts the idea of having a sidewalk in unlit areas, right?
Well, but the people walk during the day, I mean, that's, but
Yeah.
generally at the parks and stuff, because parks close at dusk.
Mhm.
But that was the main impetus at the time, most of the sidewalks to get people through the town into the parks and the business districts. But no, that's one of the things we will have to start considering is the lights, on some of these new developments. So we'd have to kind of send a message back to the planning board and say, hey, instead of following what the RSIS requires, which I believe is one at every intersection type of thing, we kind of want to upgrade the lighting if the developer would be willing to go along with it.
Interesting.
Yep. Okay, Cindy Lane, ARH is gonna be submitting the LOI. I think Dave just signed a permit request for that. Next thing, Kramer Court Bridge, they did install the meter for Kramer Court Bridge, so that project is complete. We're doing the final closeout of that one, so another one crossed off my list. I'll go past the stream cleanings, because those are kind of coming up later. Road opening permits. We have one, we discussed, this one's on West Park Avenue. It's kind of a unique situation, but the developer is gonna post a bond to prepare the 100-foot each side of his closed opening. I mean, the disturbance, he has to put new driveways in. But we're gonna discuss that in closed for several different reasons. But that'll get back to. The other thing is the emergency work we talked about, the Sunset Avenue sidewalk, the Pepsi driveway, and the sinkhole, the curb that was hit by somebody hit both the curbs. All those repairs are done. We also did the emergency repair at 17 Harbor Way. The only repair that we haven't done that was on that original list is the sinkhole in Sunset Avenue on the south side, just east of the car dealership. You'll see the cones are still out there, the barrels.
Yes.
That's the only reason we haven't done it, because the pipe still hasn't come in yet. As soon as that pipe comes in, I think it's due in probably another 2 weeks. Once that comes in, we'll get that done. So all that emergency work is done. The light at Poplar and Deal, I talked to the developer today, and he said that the hardware is in the contractor's hands, and they should be putting that in within the next week or so. And the next thing is a couple things I have for closed.
Questions for Craig? Okay,
Best
Dave.
report in a while.
Do you
One
need
thing
me
I
out
want-
of here so you can do closed?
Well, I
In a
just have
minute.
to see if Dave has anything.
Yeah,
one
on
open.
71.
Oh, yeah, we have flag
One more
requests.
thing, that you asked about the crosswalk sign for Sunset Avenue.
Yes, you looked at it?
At Wanama's. I looked at that. There is an advanced crosswalk sign before you get to the bridge that shows, but there's not an advanced one on the bridge coming out of Asbury. So I'll have to talk to the county what they recommend about that, because that crosswalk is at the end of the bridge, so the advance would have to be on the bridge.
Okay, so there was two that we looked. There was one that didn't have that wasn't complete yet. That's not that one.
No.
Okay.
This one had, the crosswalk is there, the crosswalk sign,
Right,
the
got it.
advance is on our side and the ocean side before you get there, but there's not one coming out of Asbury.
And does that side have lights on both sides?
No.
That's not a lit one?
No.
Okay.
Most of ours are not lit.
Got it. And the one that was not done yet is still, what are we waiting on for that?
I'm not sure where the one that's not done is. The one we put on, that Maple on Sunset, that was what we did in the spring. That's
Sounds
not-
right.
That's not a lit one either, that's just a hard,
I'll resend it to you. I
Okay.
honestly can't remember. Earl sent it, Gifford.
okay. Yeah, those were hard. I mean, not just standard signs, no lights.
Got it. All right. He said it wasn't done, so I don't.
Okay.
Remember.
Yeah, email me which one it is.
Got it. Thanks.
Greg, one question, Bembler Boulevard. Have you heard anything from the county yet?
No, they're asking us to do that traffic study. I'm gonna get a couple of proposals together and I'll bring that back to you next month.
Okay. This way we can, because they're asking me about that.
Yeah.
All right, good. Dave, you had one thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a quick policy brief on Resolution 171. This is concerning the Northeast Supply Enhancement or the NESE pipeline. It's a natural gas expansion project by Williams Transco. It proposes a new compressor station in Franklin Township, New Jersey. It's a 23-mile pipeline segment through Raritan Bay. The project, initially denied in previous years due to environmental and regulatory concerns, has been revived in 2025 with new permit filings at both federal and state levels. At the federal, Williams, who's the pipeline owner, has submitted petitions to the federal government for reissuance of its certificate of public convenience and necessity. And then at the state level, at New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania, they draft the permit. Reviews are ongoing, and they're including water quality certifications, dredging permits, and environmental impact assessments. Public comment periods are active or recently closed. At the local level, obviously, is what's in front of you, the municipal resolution that could be opposing or supporting of it. Opposition arguments is that the environmental risk to wetlands, Raritan Bay ecosystems and water quality, public safety concerns from compressor stations and pipeline infrastructure. There's also potential disruption to recreational and residential areas and negative impact on fisheries. And also the belief that long-term economic benefits to local communities are minimal. The supporter side, increased energy reliability for region, especially for natural gas supply to New Jersey, potential temporary construction jobs, and enhances energy infrastructure to meet growing demand in the region. Basically, what's in front of you is from our Environmental Commission. They're asking you to pass a municipal resolution that would express opposition.
Just to kind of piggyback off of that, so it was brought to my attention a couple of weeks ago that this was going on, and I guess there was a deadline to do this. So Dave looked into all this, and I thought it was a good idea. It was something that was voted down in 2019. The bill that what they're trying to do right now seems to be very similar to what was there. It doesn't seem like to be any different. We're not alone in this. I think there are, in Monmouth County, there might be a dozen or so towns that have filed against this, and across the state. So there's a lot of opposition to it. The bill really, the proposal and what they're trying to do really hasn't changed from what they did in 2019, which was stopped by New Jersey and Pennsylvania in doing that. So I just want to give a little background of that.
And then one final comment, the NJDEP has the authority to stop the project by not denying water permits as they did 4 years ago. And municipal opposition to the project would be impactful The NJDEP deadline to comment is September 24th, so the matter is timely, and that goes back to why it's on and not discussed first.
So all we're doing is lobbying.
Which begs, Dave and I had this conversation, whatever we did it, yesterday. So the optics of it, I can use that word, but is it a slippery slope? So are we going to get involved in a lot of other requests for things that, while I guess it could impact us down here, it's in North Jersey, and I get you could argue it's everybody's issue, but it's happening up in Raritan, it's happening up in North Jersey. Do we want to get involved in having to vote on all those things that may come to our attention because the Environmental Commission or the Shade Tree Commission or anybody wants to have our stamp of approval or vote against? Where do we draw the line?
Well, I think ultimately DEP controls the decision, so it's just your opinion, you know? You're just saying to your legislators, we don't want it. Ultimately, it's just your opinion. I don't think it's that difficult.
Yeah, I'm also not sure if there's also, so we may be secondarily impacted, but I'm not sure if that also kind of creates scope creep into our own area at some point in the future, right?
Well,
So
I did my search too. There's 5,586 jobs that are going to be taken care of. There's over 400,000 degatherms that natural gas will be provided. It'll get us out of the oil, need for oil. So there are a lot of benefits as well. I just don't have enough information to vote tonight. We talked about postponing it. I get why we didn't, but.
Till the first pipe breaks, and then it's everybody's problem.
Yeah.
I don't see any real harm either way.
Harm in voting or harm
I don't think it's a big deal if we vote. I mean, it's. I don't think there's. It's not like they're
I don't
putting us
think
in
we're going to weigh too heavily on their decision.
I was gonna say, I don't think we're the deciding factor here.
I think you're just lobbying.
straight on that one. Yeah.
I guess also, the fact that the Environmental Commission kind of brought it up, they thought it was important to them, right? So, they're trying to look at all the facts as well. So at some level, if it wasn't important to them, I wouldn't think that they would have brought it to my attention, right? So at some level, you have to kind of.
Yeah, if the Environmental Commission's making a recommendation, I almost feel like we have them on as a volunteer basis, and we have to trust their opinion and what they want. I don't really see the Environmental Commission, as being really going off on tangents. I think they've been pretty good about their recommendations, so I don't have a problem with it. And flag raising.
Yes.
We have one on the
Yes, we have
request for this
request
evening.
from Monmouth County Clerk Christine Hanlon, Commissioner Tom Arnone, and the Italian American Association to fly the Italian flag from October 5th until October 31st.
How about one
Yeah,
One week?
that was. Was that right? I don't think she
That'd be a
submitted that
typo,
right.
right?
Yeah,
A
it's a
week?
typo. Make it a week.
So what
October
is the
12th.
actual date is, the
fifth.
observance is what day?
They'll
So I
actually
sent you
raise
an
it.
email.
Okay.
So it's the 5th is the raising.
Okay.
It's the same.
5 to 12, is that
Correct.
right?
5 to
Five to 12.
Yeah.
To the 12th.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, that's when you want to raise it on.
Let me know if you can make that.
Everybody in favor?
Sure.
Aye.
I'm going
Aye.
to abstain. Yes. I'm going to abstain.
Okay.
Okay, motion to go into closed session?
Are we voting on? Oh, sorry, that's out
Yeah.
upstairs. I
Yeah,
apologize. I got it.
I think we're done, Flag. Everybody's in favor?
No, not the flag. I apologize. The Nessa thing is upstairs. Sorry.
Some second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I want to remind everybody that all Township Council meetings will be audio and videotaped. They'll be shown on the Township of Ocean's Community Cable Channel, Channel 22 on Verizon Fios, and Channel 1300 on Cablevision. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Napolitani?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Fisher?
Here.
Councilmember Zachara?
Here.
Kaplan?
Here.
Weinstein?
Here.
Can everyone please stand up as we do a pledge of allegiance? And we're also going to have a silent prayer for, there's so many things today. the tragic shootings that were held yesterday in the college and Charlie Kirk. And of course, we've had a couple of lockdowns and the young lady that was murdered on a subway, as well as 9/11, which is today. So, pretty somber day. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. You may be seated. The notice requirements for the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied, and a copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted in Town Hall and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on January 3rd, 2025. There are 2 emergency exits to my right that'll take you to the front of the building. There's one to my left that'll take you to the rear. Please make sure your cell phones are turned off. If you need to make a call, kindly step outside and you can make the call from there. We're going to start off with council comments. I'm going to start down at the end with Deputy Mayor Fisher.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I want to officially announce that summer is over, but local summer has begun. You can see obviously that there's a decrease in the traffic, beautiful weather. I do want to thank our code department, DPW, OTPD, and the building department for all the extra work that we do. As all of you know, our community swells every summer, and it's something that we cannot ignore anymore. The mayor and I spoke briefly last night. We're going to try to proactively address this for the future. We're going to try to get a meeting with the DOT, our state legislators, the county, because I think we really need to sort of have a long-term plan here. It's not just, oh, hey, it's summertime. It stinks. It does stink. And unfortunately, there's always safety issues. But with the success of Long Branch, with the success of Asbury Park, Deal, Netflix is coming. Maybe there's some solutions out there, but we definitely have to figure out something for the future. Additionally, I'd like to ask the public, if you have constructive ideas, not, just complaints, please feel free to reach out to me. I have an email with the Township, D. Fisher, OT, so you can find me there. But yes, we are looking for some ideas, and maybe somebody's got something that we don't know about. So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councilwoman Kaplan.
I just want to take a minute to commemorate the day. September 11th. It's something that we all remember where we were on that day. I went to a very moving ceremony this morning in Long Branch, and we want to always take a minute to just, send our condolences to everybody that was affected by that day, and just, remember the sense of unity we all felt on September 12th, and try to kind of put that into play in our daily lives also. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Sarah.
I posted something on Facebook. I'm just going to read this in remembrance of 9/11. It won't take but an hour. May the lives remembered, the deeds recognized, the spirit reawakened by eternal beacons, which reaffirm respect for life, strengthen our resolve to preserve freedom, and inspire an end to hatred, ignorance, and intolerance. These are the words that are part of the mission statement of the National September 11 Memorial and Museum at the World Trade Center in New York City. As the world marks the 24th anniversary of 9/11 attacks, please take a few moments to remember and honor the thousands of families impacted by the attacks, especially the Township of Ocean's own John Monahan, who lost his life that day, and Battalion Chief Robert Agostini of the North Hudson Fire and Rescue, who lost his life after spending, unfortunately, way too much time on the pile. We thank our local first responders for their dedication to protecting our communities, and we celebrate the many Americans and Ocean residents who have served and are currently serving in our nation's military, many of whom enlisted as a response to the 9/11 attacks. Thank you for coming together this 9/11 to honor, remember, and reunite. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Weinstein.
Yes, I'm going to talk about 9/11 at the end, but I have just a couple of things. This 16th at 7 o'clock, we have a meeting around the strategic plan for our community forest management plan. So whoever can attend that would be great. We have a bunch of stakeholders through different walks of life that are going to be there, so it should be a good discussion. We got a grant for somebody to do the consulting and kind of put that together, but it's important that we get the strategic community forestry plan in place. We've been waiting a long time for that. The other is we had a golf outing the other day. The Greater Ocean Town Chamber of Commerce had a golf outing. We went to that. It was really for the benefit of the Tunnel to Towers and the first responders. And it was a great event. It was nice to see all the people who were supporting that and all the local businesses who came out to support that. And it was one of those things that it was a nice prelude to our efforts today. I was with Gita and the mayor at the event in Long Branch today, and what really kind of hits home is I think Gita kind of touched on it, was that the brotherhood and oneness on the 12th and the patriotism that we had for our country was at its height on the 12th. And unfortunately, through all the things that we can see in our world around us today, that has become diluted. And, I think today should ring a time where tomorrow brings another level of civility on how we all together and how we all kind of, work together and collaborate. And it's okay to have different opinions, and it's okay to have different thinkings about the way life should be, but let's do it through dialogue, and let's not do it through force, right? I think that's all I had.
Thank you. Dave Brown, our manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not going to be redundant, but I'm just going to echo what the council member said about 9/11 and the sense of unity that was felt on September 12th, and that hopefully that rings out going forward. And also just want to mention yesterday's tragic event and all the other tragic events that are happening around this country right now, and it just needs to stop.
Agreed on that. And before I say a couple comments about 9/11, let me just give you a couple good points that I can give up here. First of all, I know I have some massive folks out here this evening that are going to be addressing the council, and I wanted to let you guys know that the Fireman's Pond that's over near your section of town will be dredged starting October 1st. We've also agreed as a council to make sure we get the trees trimmed up so that you can actually see that pond when it's cleared out. It is quite a mess. We have a series of dredging projects that we'll be working on over the next few years. So that's number one. Lollipop Pond is next. We'll be working on that bridge so that we can get the bridge back. We've got the funding from our assembly. And after that, it'll be Terrace Pond, because by the time we get to Terrace Pond, their other project upstream will be done, hopefully. So I'm pretty excited about getting these dredging projects done. It's where I cut my teeth 30 years ago on the Deal 8 Commission, and now it's come full circle. I'm doing the projects in Ocean Township now, but it's good stuff. The Women's Club of Asbury Park, located in Ocean Township, over by you guys again, they're having a golf tournament on October 27th. That's again the mayor's charity event for them to raise some funds for their clubhouse. I'm sure you've heard the news that the Orchard Plaza site has been sold to a new owner, thanks to your council up here that had actually done some nice things with trying to get that property cleaned up at this point. So at this point, we don't have a plan in place from the new owner. He will be submitting plans at some point. We hope in the near future. He's definitely not going to sit on it. So we await to hear that. And many people have been asking about the deer. Councilman Asser and I had a meeting this week with Fish, Game, and Wildlife. We had Allenhurst there, West Long Branch representatives, and the mayor, Long Branch representatives, Deal representatives, and the Tinton Falls mayor, along with their manager. We went over some of the concerns that we have as Ocean Township, being that we have some of the bigger open tracts of land. We are going to start, we've come up with an agreement to come out and give public information meetings and sessions to the residents, not just in our town, but the surrounding areas. We know that Ocean Township cannot make decisions by themselves as it relates to the deer, because whatever we do affects east, whatever they do west of us affects us. So we kind of have to work in tandem. Understand this, that it's a very, very difficult decision to make on, what has to be done. We all know up here, we're not stupid. We know something needs to be done, and we're working hard on coming up with an idea and solutions, working with Fish, Game, and Wildlife. So please stay tuned as we start to do these public information sessions and meetings that will be run by Fish, Game, and Wildlife. Also understand that our park, Palea Park, our beautiful area out there is dying. And we have reports that state that for several years that it's dying because the deer are eating everything. So we've made a commitment to really try to tackle this thing, but I just ask that people have patience. And finally, as it relates to 9/11, one other individual who lost his life did not get to attend the ceremony last year. He made his home in Long Branch, that's where he was born and raised, and then decided to come over here to Ocean Township and live out his final years. Mike Chaffee, who was a friend to many of us, Sylvia Chaffee, his wife, gave a beautiful speech last year at the 9/11 ceremony. It was very, very heart-wrenching to hear her go through how he passed away of 9/11 illness many years later. And obviously, these effects are still affecting us today. And one final thought, I just want to let everybody know out here in the public that there is nobody up on this council that condones anything that's happened in the last few days, last few years as it relates to this violence. It's scary. It's scary for us up here as elected officials. And you just never know. And you don't even have to be an elected official, as you saw on the subway a few days ago. It can really happen to anybody. So you have to be cognizant. But it is getting way out of hand, and it's beyond scary, and it's just something that we pray this ends. I have to echo Dave Brown's sentiments on that. This has to stop. And we're all obviously really concerned about everything going on. So I want to thank everybody that's out here this evening. Okay, we are going to open it up for public questions on the resolutions and vouchers. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the Township Council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion on these items. If discussion is desired on any item, that item will be considered separately. The purpose of the public portion is to solely ask questions to understand resolutions that appear on the agenda, and it's not an occasion for a public hearing on the ordinance. All questions not related to an item on the agenda can be asked at the end of the meeting, when you will be allowed to address the council on anything germane to the Township of Ocean. So with that being said, you have 3 minutes. If you would like to come up, please state your name and address for the record. Only resolutions and vouchers.
Let's see if this is working today. Oh,
There we
okay,
go.
it's actually working for me. Alex Hayes, Oakhurst. I'll start with resolution 6. And I'll, like I normally do, I'll just go over a couple of questions and then you can answer them afterwards. We owned island property in Seabright and Monmouth Beach. If you all can just explain that to the general public. Why on earth that was still happening? Was anybody making any tax payments on it? What does it mean? Because it's very complicated. Most people are going to be like, islands? What? So that's resolution 6. Would love more clarification. Resolution 13. The engineer Avakian. I don't always speak agenda speak. So it looks like we only appropriated $18,000 for the engineer, but we know it's obviously going to cost more than that. So we're giving up to $500,000 for the contract. That's how I read it. Like, did we not budget enough? We only gave $18,000 for Avakian, and now we know it's obviously going to be way more than that. So if you can explain why did it go from 17 of a need for the engineer, and now it's up. You're asking for anything up to $500,000. And then I think resolution 14 is my last one. You touched on it a little bit, the Orchard Plaza redevelopment. I'm assuming that's resolution 14. You had just said you all don't know what the new developer, TRE Properties out of East Windsor, you all don't know what they're going to do. They're on record saying they're going to modernize it according to their press release, that property. So why are we voting tonight on okaying about $20,000 to look into a redevelopment of that property? Why are we paying for anything? if they're going to come in and do something. I don't know why that doesn't get postponed. So those are my 3 for right now.
Okie dokie. Let's start off with Resolution 6. Yes, island parcels. We do still own a couple of islands up in Monmouth Beach, Seabright area. Up in what had happened was when Ocean Township was incorporated in 1849, we went from basically the Shark River all the way up to Shrewsbury. We had land up there, and for some reason, those islands were never removed. So they stayed in our coffers. Now, if anybody would like to maybe put a bar up there, or maybe get a liquor license and, make it monetized, I don't really know why we held on to the islands. It didn't make a lot of sense to us. That's why it's on the agenda this evening. Second thing, Avakian.
But there's no money, they're not going to then sell it for millions.
No, we don't get any. I mean, we own them. We don't get any tax dollars. They can't sell them. It's not developable land.
Mayor, do you mind if I jump in?
Go ahead.
They're actually tidal islands, so they disappear as the tide comes by. And we joked around a few years ago that we're going to plant Ocean Township's flag on there.
Yeah, why not?
But unfortunately, they're non-usable.
Okay.
Mayor, I just want to add one thing too,
yeah.
because I don't want everybody to walk away. We do collect very minimal taxes on those islands.
From who?
From the property owner, who I don't know off the top, but there are property owners for those islands.
Oh.
And we were collecting very minimal taxes.
Fascinating. So we really do have beachfront property
There you go.
in Ocean. Okay.
There you
Yes.
go.
Okay.
The professional services contract for Leon S. Sabakian, I'm not really sure, other than the fact that it could be for the road program. Dave, if you want to.
Oh, it
was.
absolutely is for the road
Yeah.
program, Mayor. And the road program this year, I think it's later on, it's about $4 million. So that $495,000 represents the professional services for that $4 million road project, which is about 12%, which is normal because it's usually between 10 and 15%. That's the basically the barometer that we judge on road programs and engineering services.
Okay.
And
Okay.
just so people are aware, we actually increased the road program in the budget this year because we were falling behind a bit. And finally, as it relates to topology, I'm pretty sure I know what the answer is, but I'm going to lob this over to our attorney in regard to the fees as it relates to an area in need of redevelopment. Speaking of the Orchard site, so.
Yeah, Topology is going to be doing working on a plan for that with the developer. We don't have a plan yet. The developer has made statements to redevelop the owner of the property. We've got to wait for that plan to come in before we decide what's going to be there, and that's subject to the council approval.
And the fees come back when it's area needed.
But what, I don't get why we're paying for it right now.
The
That's what I
fees
get.
will be the fees will be reimbursed to the township that are being paid out now to our consultant to review that.
So the plus
Okay,
to
that's
doing an
helpful.
area in need of redevelopment the way that we did was all the fees get passed on to the purchaser of the property. That's why this was kind of a no-brainer doing this. That's why we did it.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to ask any questions on resolutions and vouchers, please step up to the microphone. Seeing here none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second,
Second?
roll call.
Achara?
Yes?
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Napatani?
Yes. Vouchers in the amount of $11,286,103.62. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers.
Second,
Second?
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Napatani?
Yes. Ordinance is up for adoption. Ordinance number 2517, which is a bond ordinance providing for various road and drainage improvements, appropriating $4 million, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3,655,362 in bonds and notes to finance a portion thereof, authorized in and by the Township of Ocean. Can someone please open public discussion on Ordinance 2517?
I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 2517.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Napatani?
Yes. Anyone wishing to be heard on Ordinance 2517, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address. for the
Hello,
record.
Jim Bay, Davis Street. And I noted that Kevin and Jeff are new here, so I had a memorandum of record.
Thank you.
I just like that.
And Kevin, in July, I spoke with you on a bond ordinance taking place in July, and I just wanted you to understand the background history of the bond ordinances. So this is about a 1-year background for you, Kevin and Jeff. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to be heard on ordinance 2517? Seeing here none, do I have a motion to close public comment on ordinance 2517?
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 2517.
Second.
Second?
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Action on ordinance 2517. Dave.
Oh, I'd like to move to adopt ordinance 2517 and publish according to law.
Second.
Second?
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes, that ordinance passes. Ordinance 2518, which is an ordinance amending and supplementing ordinance number 2343 entitled, an ordinance amending the revised general ordinances of the Township of Ocean 1965 relating to the personnel policies, practices, and procedures. Someone please open public comment on ordinance 2517.
I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 2518.
Second.
Second?
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Anyone wishing to be heard on ordinance 2518, please step up to the microphone. State your name and address for the record. Seeing here none, do I have a motion to close public comment on ordinance 2518?
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 2518.
Second.
Second?
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Action on ordinance 2518.
I'd like to move to adopt ordinance 2518 and publish according to law.
Second.
Second?
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. That ordinance passes. Ordinance is up for introduction. Ordinance 2519, which is an ordinance amending Chapter 3 of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Ocean 1965 entitled General Police Regulations to create a new section 3-2 to be entitled Peace and Good Order. Someone please introduce ordinance 2519.
I'd like to move to introduce ordinance 2519.
Second.
Second?
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes, that will have its public hearing on the 9th of October. Ordinance 2520, which is an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of a public roadway known as Bentley Lane. Someone please introduce ordinance 2520.
I'd like to move to introduce ordinance 2520.
Second.
Second?
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Weinstein? Naplatani?
Yes. Okay, open up for public comment. Anyone wishing to be heard? Anything germane to the Township of Ocean, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Okay.
Hi, Maura Goots, Sunset Ave, Wanamassa. Thanks for having me tonight and our group. I'm representing Complete Streets, Ocean Township. And I also want to acknowledge all of the people that we lost on 9/11. So, like I said, my name is Maura. I live on Sunset Ave. I started a petition back in August to lower our speed limit on Sunset Ave from 35 to 25. The reason is personal. I was on my morning commute to Monmouth Medical Center, 9 a.m. on a Monday, and I was nearly hit by a speeding driver who passed me pretty dangerously just before the Wickapeco light. This is not the first time that I've felt threatened on my own street by a driver. And since then, I've spoken with many neighbors who share the same fear about the aggressive driving on Sunset. So we formed a group. This is a loose group of people in the neighborhood that are all concerned. So we got together and really kind of talked about what our goal is here. And some of the other things that we're looking for are complete crosswalks on Sunset and Maple Ave for the children crossing to the Little Bridge. on Maple that brings you to Wanamassa Elementary School. Crosswalks with complete signage at other key intersections like Park Boulevard and Chestnut, Grassmere and Lake Ave, Bendermere and Chestnut. Right now, these are intersections that have no painted crosswalks or signage, and we really need crossing guards as well. Has anybody here heard of what the Complete Street Coalition is?
No.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Not really.
it's awesome. So it's a nationwide coalition. So that's why I did some printouts for everybody here on what that really means. So when we talk about complete streets, it's providing a safe neighborhood and environment for all people to use public space, not just for drivers. So it really emphasizes safe, accessible streets for all users. Adopting these policies in our municipality could create safer streets, not just on Sunset Ave, but in all of Ocean Township. And then for some other items that I've learned about through Complete Streets is our existing crosswalks need some updating, like curb extensions, shortening crossing distances to slow turning vehicles, pedestrian refuge islands with bollards and signage, raised crosswalks, and speed tables for better visibility. We also need to paint the bike lanes green, so that's for awareness, and it's also visually helps the driver slow down, because when they're looking at the road, it looks smaller to them when they see the green paint, and it's inclusive for everyone. That's what the green paint symbolizes. And then for purposes of also making the road look smaller, you can also add trees and green infrastructure. I'll be at that meeting on Tuesday at 7 p.m. about the trees. And finally, I brought with me the petition. So we now have over 348 signatures. That's a lot of people that are concerned about Sunset Ave, desiring for it to go from 35 to 25. I know we've all heard in the news that Asbury Park went down to 25. A lot of that, I learned that Asbury Park has their own Complete Streets group of citizens that are also concerned. So that's how I've learned a lot about what Complete Streets is. And the last 2 points I wanted to make are that Complete Streets Coalition, if that's something that Ocean Township wants to pull into policy, they have grants. There is money, there is funding. The Department of Transportation of New Jersey, really seeks highly of municipalities that want to incorporate that in their town. Partnering with the Rutgers School of Transportation, there's a lot of different constructive opportunities that I think that our community could utilize. And then the last thing that I wanted to say is that Governor Murphy signed into bill this past January the Target Vision Zero, and that's really all about when we get to the future of 2040, decreasing fatalities, which we know in New Jersey has increased. So, and specifically what we're concerned about is going from 35 to 25 could decrease pediatric fatalities, which is my concern. I have small children like the rest of the group. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maura. I appreciate the time we spent talking on the phone, and thank you for bringing the petition and the information to us. I understand Sergeant Martinez has a meeting set for you, is it next week? Tuesday. So I think that at that point, that's where the dialogue will start. I trust what Sergeant Martinez gives us in reports as it relates to our streets. As it relates to crosswalks and sidewalks and things of that nature, we have a 25-year road program as we're going throughout the municipality, doing our various areas of road improvements, sidewalk improvements, curb improvements. We've also systematically added bike lanes throughout the municipality. Obviously, there's more that we're going to do as we do these projects. That's also the other thing is the color of the bike lanes. That's something I would ask Martinez when you see her on Tuesday to find out colors and such, because there was a couple of things that are allowed, aren't allowed. So I'm not really up on the regulations of that, but that's definitely something that, should be discussed with her. And, bring out all those ideas. They'll do the study that they need to do to find out whether or not a road can be lowered in speed. And that's really up to the traffic department to figure that out. Okay, so thank you for coming out, ladies. Appreciate it. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Please step up to the microphone. State your name and address for the record. Okay.
Hi. My name's Desiree. I live on Franklin Parkway. I just wanted to come out and talk tonight because I was told that we were going to get a crosswalk on Maple Avenue in Sunset. And I was promised that a couple years ago by, I believe you, I talked to about that. And I was told I was going to get one. It was going to be great. It got moved. I spoke to Avakian. He said it was coming. And then I found out this fall, I called to see where it was. And I found out it got moved down to Chestnut because you guys are doing the bridge. And that's great. I love that. But why can't there be 2 crosswalks? I don't understand why there can't be 2 or multiple crosswalks. It doesn't make sense. We were almost hit crossing Sunset there, me and my daughter. Someone stopped to let us cross, which we don't feel comfortable when people stop. We always tell people, go, because we want to wait till there's no cars around because it's not safe, And the person behind them, the guy did stop, and we were trying to tell him to go, but the person behind them swerved around them. So if we did go, we would have gotten hit. So it's extremely unsafe. And it's a very walkable, friendly neighborhood to be able to walk over to the park, be able to walk to school. That's one of the reasons why we bought in Wanamassa. My husband and I are both lifelong Monmouth County residents. And we love Wanamassa. We ended up here because we really love the small town of Wanamassa. And it's really disappointing to be promised something and then get it taken away because they just moved it somewhere else. And I just don't see why you can't have both.
So Rob, you go ahead and allot that.
I don't remember promising it, but if I did, I'll admit to it.
Well, Avakian said, because he was
good.
like,
Okay.
It's on the, he
All right,
told
very
me
good.
like it's getting
If I did, I
installed
did.
last fall. No, you got the ball rolling, but then he promised it, yeah.
So here's what I've learned, and you can certainly ask Sergeant Martinez when you meet with her. I can tell you that Havakian has made this comment to us numerous times, and specifically on Sunset, but it applies to other streets as well. More isn't necessarily better. So having multiple crosswalks on a street doesn't necessarily improve safety, because now you have people stopping constantly. I can understand why you would prefer it closer to where you're at. Having said that, they're strategically placed right now based on traffic patterns, based on the need, and based on safety. So, Sergeant Martinez, you're welcome to have that conversation with her, but that's why that particular one was not put where
it was.
discussed it.
I understand that. There's just a bridge right across the pond there to be able to walk across there. So you'd think that there would want to be one there.
At the time, hold on. At the
go ahead.
time, that bridge wasn't. The reason, and that now that you're reminding me, that's why they didn't put it there, because that bridge wasn't supposed to be used.
Okay.
So when it's improved and fixed, you all can have that conversation
Then we could
with
have that.
Sergeant
Okay.
Martinez.
And then I know you guys were open to constructive ideas that maybe you haven't heard. I don't know if this is something that's possible, but the backup from the traffic from between 35 and Logan Road is awful.
Mm-hmm.
So I think possibly if you put a light between Wickapeco and Logan, it could kind of break that up a little bit, and it would also help with the crosswalk as well and help with a safety issue with crossing the street if we had a light between Wickapeco and Logan on Sunset Avenue.
Okay, we'll take that under advisement.
I don't know if that's possible, but
That's something that can be asked to Martinez same night. Yes. Hi.
Hello, my name is Madison Kenny. I live on Sunset. My first question is Sergeant Martinez the primary decision maker, the end-all decision, or is it a group of people?
No.
Who is
She
the
gives the
final decision
recommendations
maker?
on the.
I'm just curious if that's open, like, for us to know, because I feel like at the end of the day, we want to know who's taking accountability and responsibility if the speed limits aren't reduced, because if a child is hit, we're asking for it. I feel like we need to be looking at this in the situation of like a high reliability organization, right? We need to look at sentinel events before they occur and try to prevent them, right? That's what we do as parents, covering outlets, blocking stairs, That's how I've been trained in my career as a nurse. And you said it yourself on the other topic, no brainer. This to me seems like a child's life should be the number one safety. I don't understand how we could be leaders in a town, talk about trees, talk about anything other than child safety should be the number one priority. So I just want to know who is responsible if this is denied or this motion is not passed, because if something happens to a child, you know the next day the speed limit will be reduced. We should not be waiting for that to happen. We need to make a change before something occurs. We have everything to lose. It is a child's life. And I feel very passionate about this. I live on Sunset. I have stood at the bus stop with my children and had the hair on my arms go up because cars have gone, you know, when they're 35, their speeding is 50. That has been so fast. I felt like, oh my God, my children are 2 feet away from that. So if they're speeding at 25, maybe it'll be 30. That would be more desirable than 50. We have got to do something. I mean, you guys blocked off the Chestnut Bridge, and I understand maybe it wasn't structurally safe back there, but that was a way for kids to get to school safe instead of going to Wickapecka, because Wickapecka is just as dangerous as Sunset. People are flying down it. I don't know if you've ever gone out there. Maybe it would be great for you to go at 7:30 in the morning. The amount of children from the south of Sunset that are crossing and migrating to the school is really a beautiful thing. When I look at it, I'm like, this is what it's all about. This is community, kids walking and riding their bikes. But then it's like, phew, you can ask. I'm a loud mouth in town because cars fly by and I say, slow down. I'm screaming. Everybody knows me in the neighborhood for screaming at traffic because what is happening? It's not necessary. It needs to be stopped. So thank you for your time, but we really want to know who's responsible in the end.
At the end of the day, the council makes the final decision based on what the recommendations are of our professionals. I mean, we don't really make the day-to-day operations. We don't run it here. We set policy and procedure. So we get the recommendations of traffic, and if they recommend that it gets lowered, by all means, we're going to do it.
But you do have a good say, right? Because the mayor,
We have a good say. We have a good say. We have a good say, but I think there's been times that we've wanted to do that, and we've gotten talked down. Believe it or not.
Actually, I was going to say, we've heard quite a few of us were talking about this with a lot of our neighbors.
Just come back to the mic.
Come back up.
You got to come back up to the.
The tape
Sorry.
can't pick it up.
We've actually been talking about this with all of our neighbors. Many of our neighbors have lived in Wanamessa and raised their children here, and they're like, we love what you're doing. You know, we love seeing your kids on the corner having lemonade stands and riding their bikes. And we were complaining about this 25 years ago when our children went to school. So for me, that's upsetting because it shouldn't take 25 years to make a change that leads to the best possible outcome, saving a child's life. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, we have everything to lose. So it's frustrating to hear that 25 years later we're in the same battle. We're too far ahead in time. We should say, yes, save a child. This is a community. Slow down. And if you look at the Sunset Bridge in Asbury to 35, what is it? Not even a mile stretch. It's not going to affect anybody's commute if they go from 35 to 25. They're getting to work at the same time, let's face it. But they're potentially saving a child's life.
So I think let's see how the meeting goes with Martinez on Tuesday. Let her do the traffic study and let us get our information, and then we can make an informed decision.
Thank you.
Can I make
Thank
one quick suggestion? If you haven't already prepared any questions for Sergeant Martinez, you may want to send them to her in advance, because I can almost guarantee you that there have been numerous traffic studies on Sunset that she can pull the records for and show you what the statistics are of how many cars have gone down, what the average speed limit is, what the percentile of that speed limit is versus what the percentile of where the cars are traveling versus the speed limit. So if you ask her in advance, she'll probably have it prepared for you. That's not to say we can't do another one. That's up to her and the police department, but you may want to send them in advance because she'll be prepared. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Caitlin Dam, Chestnut Avenue. One question off that. I know Sergeant Martinez is getting promoted or moving up, and Sergeant Rodriguez is taking over. So I just kind of want to make sure that Sergeant Rodriguez is also going to be at that meeting.
Probably pretty sure that Martinez will be looping her in.
Looping her in, or
Well,
can she be at the meeting?
I can find that out for you.
Just so there's no telephone or what. All right, so I just...
Can I say something? Can I just say something? When it's presented to us, we're going to make sure the discussion is incredibly thorough, that all the facts are there, that we're able to kind of have a good discussion with them and kind of understand all the angles to it, right? I think, we want to make sure it's not a presentation and then we're sitting there and whatever's said by whoever's presenting, we're following that along just blindly, right? It's like there's going to be a lot of question, a lot of discussion, and we're going to come to a very thoughtful resolution. So
Perfect, thank
okay,
you.
Sure.
All right. Hi, my name is Caitlin Dam, and I live on the corner of Sunset and Chestnut. I also serve on the Board of Education, and in that role and as a parent, my main concern is our children. That's why I'm here tonight, along with this wonderful group of parents, to talk about traffic safety. On streets like Sunset, Wickapeco Park, Grassmere, and Bendemeer, cars are constantly speeding. These are the very streets where our children are riding their bikes, crossing to the park, and walking to and from school. And yet our streets are incomplete and in many places unsafe. I've reached out to the police department to ask about crossing guards from Chestnut and Park all the way down to Chestnut and Bendemeer by the school. I was told it would be looked into, but didn't seem likely. But I don't see why not. At the very least, we should be adding stop signs between those intersections, and when you drive through Asbury Park, you see countless volunteers serving as crossing guards, helping the children get to school. I have no doubt that here in Wanamassa, with our strong sense of community, people would step up for the safety of our kids. Families choose to live here because of the community. We want our kids outside, riding bikes, walking with friends, and enjoying the neighborhood. Right now, speeding makes that dangerous, and we should be encouraging our families to be outside and not making them afraid. So I'm asking you to keep an open mind, and please don't dismiss this idea. Let's not wait until a child is seriously hurt or something worse to take action. Let's be proactive. Let's learn from towns that have already embraced this safer, complete streets policy, and let's make Wanamassa and Ocean leaders in protecting our children. Thank you guys.
Caitlin.
I just want to add something here.
Go ahead.
Just to echo what Rob said, not only come with questions, but also come with a list of suggestions. This is where we think a stop sign should go. This is where we think we need a crosswalk, so that you can analyze, come with a map, make the meeting a productive one. Because I know Sergeant Martinez and whoever her replacement is, Sergeant Martinez is very open to considering everybody's input, and I think she'd value yours. And I'm a mom too, and I yell at cars too. So we're very understanding on this council, and I'm confident that we just need the information, and we'll talk it out and make an informed decision, like the mayor said.
Thank you.
Quick question, Mayor.
Yep.
Has the board brought that crossing guards up? Just a yes or no is easy, unless you're going to give me a. Well,
I'm just gonna say
I've served.
I
We've all
did-
served on the board. We know.
And I hope I'm allowed to, but I did ask, I was told to talk to the administration in the school. They told me to call the police department. I called the police department, and that was the answer, that it would be unlikely, but they would take a look at it. And I actually talked to Sergeant Rodriguez, who said she was taking over in September, so she was gonna look, and then I should call back in October, which she listened. I felt great getting off the phone with her. 3 days later, Maura posted about her incident, and then this kind of snowballed into, there's a lot of moms and a lot of parents that are having issues and having stories, so that's kind of where we came with that.
I don't know how it's. I mean, we've served on the board before. I would certainly, if Kelly hasn't already had a conversation, I would certainly
I was
encourage.
told to call the police department.
As a board member or as a parent?
I don't want to get myself in trouble.
As
so-
a parent. As a parent.
As a,
I'm not.
As a
I'm
parent.
here as a parent, but
Right. My 2 cents would get Kelly involved.
noted.
Anyone else? I gotta get other people. Sorry.
Not about
Yeah. Give me after all.
Hi, I'm Tara Christensen, also from Wanamassa. So let's see. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen to all of us, and in the spirit of we are all here to make our communities better and work together. And I know a lot of the focus today was on Sunset and Wickapeco was brought up. I live near Wickapeco, so I wanted to focus on that. And I understand we're going to have the other meeting, but I still want to have it on the record here, because Wickapeco Drive specifically between Grassmere and Appleby Playground has become extremely unsafe. Like, I've had multiple incidences there. Like, I really encourage you around 4 o'clock on a weekday to take a slow drive down Wickapeco, because you'll see the curve that picks up after Grassmere. It's very narrow. The sidewalk's right there. You know, the road's not super wide. You'll continue on to the bridge by North Winnemassa Drive, and there's kids everywhere. They got their bikes, they're fishing, they're having a great time, and cars are speeding by. It's terrifying. And then the crosswalk right there at North Winnemassa Drive across Wickapeco is, at the bare minimum, we need flashing lights there, like they have by the golf course and now over by Appleby Playground, because cars do not stop. I have to pick up my 4-year-old because I don't even feel safe just holding her hand there, because the road is not that wide. The cars are close to the sidewalk and they are moving fast. The shops are right there. The parking lot is on one side of Wickapeco, and all the shops that everyone's going to are on the other side of the street. So that crosswalk, people are crossing back and forth there. There's very limited street side parking, and the street side parking that is there, people are opening, closing the doors, kids are hopping out, parents are trying to buckle a kid in a car seat, and people are flying, trying to make the light. And, kids are going to karate, the ice cream shop, music class. People are going to get takeout food, go to the pharmacy. There's constantly people coming and going. It's a very, very high pedestrian traffic area. There's no reason the speed limit should be that high there. Like, there's going to be a tragedy. I've seen so many close calls where kids, they're running around, they just had ice cream, and they're going down, and the cars, nobody's looking. They're not looking, they're just focused on the light. The speed limit's just way too fast there. We need the flashing lights at the crosswalk, and the speed limit really, really, really needs to be lowered. And even as you continue past there, the intersection at Sunset and Wickapeco and down, the road is narrow. You have to kind of go over the line almost to get around. It's hard for just the 2 lanes. You've got the playground right there. There's absolutely no reason that the speed limit on Wickapeco should be 35. It should be 25. Like, our neighborhood is very dense. It's old. The buildings and houses are close to the street. It's all very crowded. Like, it's not meant for those high speeds. It's a neighborhood where there's a lot of people walking, riding their bikes. There's a lot of young families. I also want to add my support for lowering the speed limit on Sunset. I mean, Asbury Park, it's 25 all down Sunset. There's no reason it can't be 25 in Ocean. There's really no reason for the speed limit to be that high. There's like no plus side that I can see to having such a high speed limit. So I know we all want to make our neighborhoods as safe as we can for the kids, and that's basically it. We're so close to making it like it's almost like a very walkable neighborhood. We're very close, but not quite there, and I think we can get it there. And I also just want to throw out a second order is the trail around Lollipop Pond that we have not been allowed to work on. That was going to be a great option for people. There's no sidewalks on Park Boulevard. That was a great way to keep people off of these fast streets and able to cut through to get to the playground, to get through to the school and stuff like that. And I know there's been complaints from certain neighbors of the trail, but I also just want to know, like, if we're going to be able to get that, because I know we have a lot of people that are willing to volunteer and put in the work to keep up with that trail, but the last I was told we were not allowed to work on it.
Okay, thank you, Tara. The trail will be worked on once we get word back from the DEP. I believe our engineer is waiting on that. There was something with the wood chips, so it wasn't supposed to be spread in a certain area. We can follow up with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Can't believe I'm talking right now. My name is Tia Maloney. I live on Walnut Avenue. I just want it on record that like all of these things will take time and studies and people and meetings and things, but something we could do right now is enforcement. I mean, any of us that drive through Interlaken probably does not go over 26 miles an hour because you know you will be pulled over in Interlaken for speeding. So something we can do tonight is enforcing the speed limit at what it is to at least try to start to make it a bit safer for our children. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Tia. Anyone else wishing to be heard?
It's just about traffic in general.
No. This is anything germane to the Township of Ocean.
Okay, Bimbley Boulevard, Brian Mullins, 107 Bimbley
Brian, come up to the mic so they can hear you.
Brian Mullins, 107 Bimbley Boulevard. I was here in May. I've spoken to Councilwoman Kaplan a couple times via text. it was supposed to be corrected or closed when they were doing the road work. And right after I was here in May, I sent Councilwoman Kaplan a series of photos of an 18-wheeler that had gone down and taken out the telephone pole, which was now at this end at Asbury and Bimbler. That would make the 7th time wires were taken down by 18-wheelers. There are 2 signs as you enter Bimbler. One says 6,000 pound limit, the other one says 2 tons. 2 tons is 4,400 pounds, so I don't know why there's a 6,000 pound limit and a 4,400 pound limit. And you know, the conduit under the ground sure as hell doesn't know, it just knows it's getting crushed when those trucks are driving over it. I understand the county is now interested in potentially putting up the no left turn sign. If you go up Route 35, I think it's Eatontown or Shrewsbury, right before White Road, there's Monroe Road. If you try to make a right to cut around, the road is closed. There's nothing there from the state saying no right turn. But the township, either Shrewsbury or Eatontown, has closed that road off. They actually have a nice little garden in front of it. It looks very nice. I don't know why we have to wait for the county to do something, since the GPSs and the traffic coming through isn't abiding by any of the road signs. Even the people that make the right, the lefts onto Bimbler off of Monmouth Road, the police presence doesn't stop the flow of traffic that comes down and breaks that no left turn sign.
Yep. So Brian, I just asked the engineer where we stood with that right now. The engineer advised us that the county did require a traffic study because Asbury Avenue is their road and
Right.
Bimbler is our road. So they just want us to do the traffic study up to see how it's going to affect Asbury Park by pushing the traffic up.
But
to
that
Ridge Ave.
confuses me too, because when they met with the residents of Colonial Terrace, when they were going to put the left lane, the center lane on Asbury Avenue so people could make a left into Aldi, the attention was brought to them that people head east on Asbury to make a left onto Bimbler. And they did a traffic study. And they put all sorts of cameras and measuring devices at Bimbler and Wickapeco. And to paraphrase Greg Blash, the comment from the county was they were blown away by the volume and the speed that people traveled on the road. So I don't know where that county traffic study is today, because they put all the equipment there for more than 6 months and collected data. So I don't know why they need more information.
He said he had to get 3 proposals that he needed to bring. Yeah,
He's doing a whole new study.
Yeah, you have to do a new study.
They did it Aldi's now developed. They haven't put in the left turn lane on
Right,
the center.
but this is going to affect Ridge Avenue now. This is a little bit different. That's why they require a different traffic study.
And then the last meeting they said, well, we can still put it up. We don't need permission, because this is where some of it comes. Is it owned by the county? Is it owned by us? It's, you know, I was even told at one time Bimbler was a county road, and it's not.
Yeah.
And there was always also told that the trucks can travel down the road if they're making a local delivery. That's not true either. There's weight restrictions or weight restrictions. So, you know, more damage is occurring. I mean, a car last year after the speed bump was only supposed to be there for the few months, but 2 weeks after that speed bump was removed, the car wound up on my front lawn. So, and then the house down the road had 2 cars go into it. You know, so how much more? And the last time the wires were pulled down in front of my house and it damaged the street light across the street, the wires fell, it dragged, the truck kept on going, it dragged the wires into the house next door, causing damage to the house next door, and the wires fell around the 8-year-old playing in the side yard. You know, like these ladies said, at what point does it take to get something done when we know the danger is clear and present?
So we talk about, like literally we talk about it every meeting. What's the update on Bimbler? What's the update? It's not so easy when half of the problem is out of our hands.
Right.
The best we can do is keep pushing the county to do the traffic study and to come to a resolution with us. We're on it. It's slow going.
I mean, is there any way to find out about the cameras and everything was there? It was there. They did it.
We can check with Blash, and you can reach out to Dave next week.
And I think, and that's like, it's like, did it disappear? I mean, I don't understand that.
We'll check with Greg and find out about that.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Brian, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Alex Hayes, Oakhurst again. I have a couple more questions. I'll just go down. Oh, sorry. There's always something with me and the microphone and my time limit here. I'm telling you, it's rigged. Okay, so on one of your resolutions, it was talking about the traffic signal and the crosswalk at Deal, Cold Indian, Route 18. I wasn't in the upstairs meeting, and generally that's when you guys give like date updates. So, and I didn't see in the paperwork if there were actually any dates, but do we have there will be a traffic light at Cold Indian and Deal Road on November 5th. Like, I don't understand why we don't have a date yet, or do we?
Did you just see how long it took us to get?
I know. I've been hearing Cold Indian and Route 18 and Deal for over a year, and I think over a year ago they said it was supposed to be up this September.
How long did it take you to get the light that you wanted on Norwood Avenue?
It's not there yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Government, Rich Long, government moves slow,
Mhm. ...
for a reason. Don't know what the reason is, but it does move slow.
We're all very aware. Okay, so these are a couple of things like off topic. Driving around Oakhurst lately, I see some homes. I don't know if they're homes or houses of worship or businesses, that used to be in a home or like a home structure, but that have like 9 garbage cans. Do we have occupancy rules? Do we have capacity, like how many people can live in a home at a time? Do we have if you're having a meeting, if I wanted to have the Women's Club of Asbury at my house and I had 200 people in it, can I have it? Can I buy 12 garbage cans? There's a house near me that it looks like a house. I don't know if it's a house or something else. They have 5 garbage cans and 5 recycling, and my house is 1,300 square feet. I for the life of me, I don't understand why this is either allowed, or maybe it is, but is there an ordinance or something like that? So I'm wondering if there's any more clarification. So don't take up my time now. I'll go over next questions. So that's one. I've just been fascinated by that. In the police blotter, it was a very hefty August police blotter. I don't know if you all saw it online. Yet again, there was another prostitution bust on Route 35 in Oakhurst. I'm not going to say the address because it's public. I'd rather not say it, but it's a place that has been busted before. I'd love to know, is this a recent sting or something that happened? There were like 5, possibly 6 people arrested, 1 for soliciting, but I believe the majority of them were for orchestrating or whatever the word is on the other side. So, what's going on? What are we doing to kind of end some of these spas that might be over and over repeatedly having prostitution busts? Is the forest management meeting at 7 p.m., I think you said Tuesday, is that open to the public?
Yes, it is.
And is that going to be posted online on the town's Facebook pages?
Should be, right?
It's been in the paper, online.
I haven't seen it on Facebook, but I might have missed it. Okay, hold on, I'm almost done. Bentley Lane, Martelli at Wayside. It's a little difficult to read some of these agenda speak once again. It says like Bentley Lane, Martelli at Wayside is a development, like I'm supposed to know what that is, and it lists like 7 lots. Where is this new development coming?
It's not a new development.
I mean, it's
not a new development.
it's coming to Bentley Lane, but I don't know where that is.
10 years old at this point, or 8 years old? At least. Yeah.
So it's a street that's being renamed?
No.
So it has houses on it?
You done yet? No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were waiting. Okay.
I'm sorry, I know her.
No, I get it. I get it. You were waiting for me. I think that's it. I feel like I'm missing something, but okay.
Okay, so Deal and Cold Indian Springs Road, don't have an answer on that. We can get that from the engineer. Garbage cans. Good concern, good question on capacity, so we can discuss that. I do believe that you can purchase as many extra garbage cans as you want.
Is your heart content?
Can I add to that?
Yes, ma'am.
So I think it has less to do with the amount of people that actually live in the house as the fact that a lot of people have Sabbath meals. They invite a lot of people and then they have a lot of garbage. I think also our town only has 1 garbage pickup a week. Other towns have 2. To have 2 obviously would cost more, and so the garbage cans get full and people need more. I
That
don't
makes
know
sense.
about 9,
Okay.
but there are people that have commented to me, I need another garbage pickup. What can we do to get another garbage pickup? So I see the other side also.
Like maybe if we had a second garbage pickup, we wouldn't have as many garbage cans, possibly.
more money,
I see what you're
but-
saying. Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Did not we offer that at some point for a charge?
We were contemplating
Considering
it
that?
over in, yeah, but that didn't really work out.
But it would have to be town-wide. and
Scheduling
anybody
didn't
could
really work.
So we did not go for that.
As for the prostitution bus, I'm not privy to the day-to-day operations of the police department, but obviously if there's a prostitution bus, they must be doing something about it. They reopened within 2 days under
Yep.
a different name.
They always do.
So again, our police, I can't say enough about our cops. They were very proactive, and I'm sure they're going to continue to be proactive on that site. You got the Forest Meeting and Bentley Lane. I'm going to lob that over to Dave, right? Is that the one you wanted, Bentley?
No, isn't that the Martelli property?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Martelli. It's been there. It's also referred to as Deal Manor.
Are you asking about the road being...
Yeah,
I'm asking where is it?
That we're accepting the road. It's off of Bound.
Yep.
It's off of Bound Road. If you come up Deal, make a left on Bound.
Uh-huh.
It's the first one on the right.
Where there are homes.
Directly
that's
across
Bentley
from
Lane.
Copenhagen.
So it's not new. The problem is this should have been done like 10 years ago, but it slipped through the cracks on the developer side. But in order for us to accept the roads, it has to be approved by the council.
So somebody's been living at Bentley Lane for years, but you didn't have it on your maps as Bentley Lane.
No,
No?
we've had it. It's just been a technical
Okay,
thing
so
that
a
should have been
formality
done.
of
Yes,
something.
exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
It's what I call governmental housekeeping.
It would be helpful if that then I wouldn't think that there's like a mysterious new building or street in town. Okay.
It's a nice
Thank you.
development, by the way.
Very nice.
Anyone else wishing to be heard? Can you get me after? Can you get me after? I'll have the attorney answer.
Yeah,
on that.
what our policy here, our rules are to allow everyone in the audience to have one time at the microphone for 5 minutes. It's allowed by law for us to do that. That's why the mayor's saying, can you speak to me afterwards? That way
Okay, it's
we
just
can
a
keep our
townwide
policy
question, so I
in
didn't know if it
place.
was, everybody might want to hear the
Yeah,
information.
I understand, but we
Okay. What is the policy for getting streetlights on streets that don't have?
What is the policy for
question.
streetlights on streets that do not
Good
have?
question. Jim, are you coming up?
He just did.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So he asked the question about the lights. We're actually dealing with that right now on several other areas. Deputy Mayor Fisher brought that up. One area of town, actually a lot of the areas of town, he even brought up our street where they're very dim lights. So we're starting to look into that as well. But
Is South Whitmere, the back road on Lollipop,
I-
behind Antonio's on that list?
honestly, we don't have a list. We haven't. It's just
So it's not a list. However, if you see a light out,
There is no pole.
there's just no poles.
We had a shooting there 5 years ago, I'm sure you all are aware, and I called Siciliano, and he told me, I said my family was taken out of their house, they thought the shooting was us, it was not, we had an infant 4-day-old, and they said, oh, just call JCP&L and tell them and request the light. I'm like, you want me to call? I think this comes from the town, I can't pay for a telephone pole, but there's drugs back there all the time in the woods, shady people go back there at night because it is pitch black. I pick up how many heroin syringes, I clean up with my own, clean up my kids. Shady people go dark spots, so a couple lights can go a long way.
I think the best thing to do for this is contact the township manager, let them know where you are. We are changing the light bulbs. We're going to the eco-friendly ones, a little more bright. And if there's if there's poles there, it's a lot easier to do. If it's underground wiring, it's a pain. It's going to cost money. So I would contact the town manager and let him go from there.
Since you're meeting with Sergeant Martinez and traffic actually reviews that, bring it up with her too.
Okay, thank you.
anyone else? Only have 2 people left. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?